writer for Time, and he begins by invoking the Salem witch trials. Interesting. He says the Salem witch trials turned on what was called spectral evidence. These were testimony from witnesses, either malicious or hysterical, who claimed the accused had assumed the form of a black cat or some other devil's creature, and had come visiting them in the night in order to torment the witnesses with bites and scratches, or to rearrange the bedroom furniture, or to send the baby into paroxysms. I think that's how you say that. I don't know. Morrow spends another couple of paragraphs drawing this problem out, and this little analogy out, as saying that people are executed as a result of these foolish girls lying about what they saw more than 300 years ago. Again, this is very relevant, because sexual assault is... Accusing someone of sexual assault is like accusing them of being a witch. Like, in the Salem witch. Like, okay, yeah, I totally get where you're going there. I see it. It makes sense to me. I get it. But, yeah, again, this is not the best. Not the best here. Yeah. Morrow insists because Dr. Blasey Ford first raised her allegations that Kavanaugh sexually assaulted her while drunk at a high school party anonymously, or, as he writes, spectral and possibly non-existent women for all one knew when the story emerged. He continues, emphasis added throughout. It seemed as if American constitutional process might be drawn back to the neighborhood of Salem, Massachusetts. According to this phantom testimony, the 17-year-old Brett held the girl down, pawed her, and tried to force himself upon her, and held his hand over her mouth when she screams until a second prep school devil piled on top, and they tumbled on the floor, and the girl managed to slip away. The boys were stumbling drunk, according to the account. And then he also managed to name drop the Handmaid's Tale before suggesting that Dianne Feinstein, who came into possession of the letter, detailed the allegations, not liking the odds of defeating Judge Kavanaugh's confirmation, had found a devilishly clever way to head it off after all. So, yeah. It's just made up. All of it's just made up. Like, either it's made up or it doesn't matter. Like, can you please make the thing happen? Like, I don't get why. I really don't get how he could get away with calling that a phantom testimony in the Wall Street Journal. It's supposed to be a reputable newspaper, and what we're getting instead is, it's a phantom testimony. Even though she's a lawyer, she's written statements. Like there's pictures of her out online. I don't get it. It's not like. It seems like we. I think we're getting the idea that it's also really it's really quite credible. Let's be honest here. So yeah. After expressing his chagrin, as they're now being a face and name behind the accusation, the journal writer casts as much doubt on as possible on her account, but conveniently says, even if she is telling the truth, it's not a big deal. It's pretty much the whole theme of the article. Like, probably didn't happen. Like, her holding her down, him holding her down, her feeling like she almost may die by like two crazy, stumbling, drunk teenage boys. I mean, it probably didn't happen. But I mean, even if it did, who cares, right? I mean, it's a rough horseplay. Come on. So the article goes, what to make of it now? The tale has become a lot less spectral. Okay, now this must have been updated or something like that. Still, there had been no police report. There's no witnesses. The second boy allegedly in the room has no memory of such an incident and to call the accusation absolutely nuts. Judge Kavanaugh flatly denied it. Her therapist notes from 30 years later are not objective reporting, merely a transcription, an inaccurate transcription of what Ms. Ford said, saying there are 4 boys involved when there are 4 boys at the party, but there were in fact 2 boys in the room, not 4 boys in the room as the therapist notes were recorded. The same thing happened if it happened an awfully long time ago, back in Ronald Reagan's time, when the actors in the drama were minors. This is not actors in a drama. It's like, it's criminals and it's victims here. Like, it's not a fun thing. It's not like a fun little play. She's always like very traumatized to it today. Like, how would you like it if you were in high school and someone tried to like attack you, paw on you, like jump on you when you're vulnerable? You're two against one. These 2 boys were most likely physically stronger than her. Like, how would you like it? Would you be like, oh, it's just a little bit of fun, a little bit of play? That's very nice. Yeah. the boys were under the blurring influence of alcohol and adolescent hormones. No clothes were removed. No sexual penetration occurred. This sin, if there was one, that none of these Catholic theology calls, was not one of those Catholic theology calls, the sin, if there was one, was not one of those that Catholic theology calls peccata clamanita, sins that cry to heaven for vengeance. Like attacking a woman when she's vulnerable and you're 2 against 1. I'm pretty sure that's a sin. I don't know. Yeah, it's just, if they did anything wrong, it was all just a little fun. Like, come on, lighten up. All right, we're done talking about that for now, and we will be back with more. Don't go anywhere. Newsflash. Return to 45 seconds. All right, welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully you are enjoying your holiday. If you have this holiday off today, well, the reason we're doing it at 10 is, like, I don't have to do anything today, or at least in the morning anyway, but we still do have a lot of stuff to get to here on the show, so we still do have some stuff to do. With less than 50 days before the midterm elections, the Supreme Court declined to heed an emergency request to stay the ruling on a case regarding donors to political nonprofits. Their decision to leave the case in the lower court essentially overturns a decades-old regulation that allowed donors to such groups to remain as secret as long as the contributions were earmarked for certain purposes. The lower court decision was made by Washington State Judge Burl A. Howell. FEC Chairwoman Caroline Hunter told Washington Post that some donors who give to nonprofits for use in political campaigns will have their names made public beginning tomorrow. Yes. Let's give a big round of applause for that. Some rare good news here. That's what all progressives and probably some conservatives are saying today, the Supreme Court, because, like, one of the most bipartisan issues in politics right now, just at least among the American people, is the idea of transparency in elections and no money in politics, and that's a huge, huge thing that a lot of people support. And the fact that there is some real good news happening, it's definitely a cause for celebration. A win is a win is a win is a win. It may not be getting more money into politics, but actually, like, having transparency about who is buying off the politicians is a big deal. It's a big deal. Let's find out more here. So, this is a great day for transparency. Noah Bookbinder, director of the Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, shout out crew, who brought the case, said in a statement, we are about to know a lot more about who is funding our elections. The decision is a big deal for the midterms, where conservatives are barely holding on to majorities in House and Senate districts that could tip the balance of power in Congress. The new regulations may give big donors second thoughts about whether they should contribute in the crucial weeks before the elections, and the dark money donors support conservatives. That's just kind of how it works. So pretty much what happens, like, if, like, for example, Robert Mercer wants to go donate to Ted Cruz, like, however many millions of dollars, he can do it under, like, transfer it through some PAC now without everyone knowing about it, which is a big deal. So it's unfortunate that citizens and groups who wish to advocate for the candidate will now have to deal with a lot of uncertainty less than 2 months before the election. Hunter, a Republican appointed by George W. Bush, told the Post. Citizens and groups, okay. Whatever. I'm just glad that, like, if you really want to advocate for someone, Caroline Hunter, I think it should be very interesting. I don't think it should be any problem for you to have your name revealed. Like, if you really like someone, if you like a conservative, if you like a liberal, like a Democrat, shout it out loud and proud. Donate, donate, donate. And you will be recognized for it. And if you don't want to be recognized for it, don't donate. It's as simple as that. It's just that easy. Like, you should be proud of who you want to donate to. It's just that simple. And just do things in the light. No one's stopping you from doing them. Just keep doing them. And the decision will be appealed, but for now, the old regulations are out at this time. So yeah, like, just don't do, it's all about character. Basic lesson of character. Don't do something you wouldn't want everyone knowing about. Just that simple. Just now everyone's going to know. You're still doing the same thing. It's just now everyone's going to know about it. If you think what you're doing is bad, stop doing it. It keeps people accountable, which is very nice. All right. We turn tides to South Carolina. And they have recently gone through, obviously, Hurricane Florence. Very, very tough situation. And this is what Donald Trump had to say to cheer the people up.
I just want to thank all of the incredible men and women who have done such a great job in helping with Florence. This is a tough hurricane, one of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water.
Yeah, it's one of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water, of course. I told you we'd get to that. Probably one of the best quotes I've ever seen. One of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water. Wow, he's giving a motivational talk, but he sounds like he recently it's like a coach thing, like, come on, you can get back in this. But, like, just after he's gotten a concussion. Like, it seems like he's concussed, but giving a motivational speech. It's always, like, he's lacking a certain part of his brain to function.
Rarely have we had an experience like it, and it certainly is not good. But the people of North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, all of the areas affected, you've been incredible. There's been a loss of life, and may God be with them and their families. That's a tough one. It's tough to understand, but this has been a really difficult period of time for a lot of people. FEMA, the job you've done, the military, Coast Guard, what you've done in saving so many lives has been really something special. Law enforcement, always. Again, I just want to thank everybody for doing such a great job with a very difficult situation. Florence has been a nasty one, a big one.
It's been a big one, folks. Nasty. Yeah, here's to hoping he doesn't do as bad of a job as he did with Florence, as in, here's to hoping he just does a little bit better for the people of Virginia than in North Carolina and South Carolina than he did for Puerto Rico. Like, can we just please hope that he does a little bit better for the states of the Carolinas and Virginia? Can we just please, just don't let us down here, President. Mr. President, help us out, please. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, here's to ending Yom Kippur's newsflash on a special note. Let's hope, by the way, everyone in North, South Carolina, and Virginia really recovers, gets out of their situation that they're in, and they get back on their feet. Let's hope for that, everyone. All right, it's been a great show for you today. Again, we kind of had to do a show because there's a lot of big news going on, but we will be back around Friday. We're going to be going off through Friday, and expect for all the news you need to be on my YouTube channel. Search for Spencer Walsh on YouTube. Give it a subscribe. Press that button. Speaking of the president, give it a subscribe. Yeah, please give it a subscribe, everyone. Yeah, that's it. And we will see you soon. We got a lot of great shows. Saturday, we got a new episode of the Spencer Walsh Show. That's not going anywhere. And of course, Global coming at the end of the month. We'll see you soon. It's been Newsflash. Thanks so much.